At a wedding celebration, the incredible voice of a server revealed the daughter's hidden pain. Under a blazing sun, Jenna stood at the barn's doorway, her heart racing, a whirlwind of emotions bubbling just beneath her radiant smile. The world around her glowed with the golden hues of a summer afternoon. Flowers adorned the rustic wooden beams, laughter mingled with the gentle rustle of warm breezes, and love filled the air like the sweet scent of hay. Yet, beneath the beauty of her wedding day, a storm brewed in Jenna's heart. She was the ambitious daughter of the local high school principal and everyone had high hopes for her, hopes she felt she couldn't meet. Her father had sacrificed so much for her future, but standing there, waiting to walk down the aisle, she feared she'd never quite live up to the legacy he created. The crowd, buzzing with excitement, was oblivious to the soft pain that shadowed her brightness. Each smile, each cheer, deepened the weight on her chest. This day was supposed to be about her love story, marrying the man of her dreams. Yet, the pressure to be flawless stole her breath away, leaving her feeling trapped in a cage of perfectionism, suffocating under expectations. 13 pearls around her neck felt heavy, each one symbolizing yet another family tradition she was supposed to embrace, and then came Sam, the 25-year-old server from the nearby town, quietly moving through the tables. He took orders with a shy smile, his own dreams flickering like candle flames just out of reach. All he wanted was to sing, to feel the applause that had eluded him for so long. As jovial conversations filled the barn, whispers of joy danced the air until the unexpected hit the DJ's equipment faltered, leaving the crowd in awkward silence. A swell of discomfort washed over Jenna, and in a burst of impulsive courage, she turned to Sam. "You should sing," she urged, her voice cracking under the weight of unspoken truths. Sam hesitated, his nerves threatening to engulf him. But Jenna's plea was sincere, and against the turning tide of doubt, he stepped toward the microphone. His voice soared, wrapping around the guests like a warm embrace. The first notes pierced the stifling silence, rich and haunting. They carried an urgent, soulful honesty that filtered through Jenna's carefully constructed facade, laying bare the fears she had long tried to hide. Tears welled up in her eyes as she felt every word resonate with the struggles she faced, dreams smothered by obligation and familial ambition. Suddenly, the mood in the barn shifted. Laughter gave way to an emotional tapestry of understanding and vulnerability. The music enveloped them, each note creating an unbreakable bond. People swayed, feelings untangled, and newfound empathy arose as everyone connected with their own hidden struggles. In a moment of fierce vulnerability, Jenna confronted her father, her voice shaking, but the strength behind it undeniable. "Dad, I can't live this life. I don't want to be perfect." The room held its breath. Guests shared whispers of surprise, each one struck by the rawness of her emotion. This was no longer just a wedding, it was a revelation. As Sam's notes rose to a stirring crescendo, his own hardships mingled with hers, harmonizing struggles of economic inequality and the quest for belonging. The truth hung in the air, unspoken yet palpable. Jenna stood before her father, nurturing an awakening inside her, ready for a reckoning that would reshape everything as they knew it. And as the final notes echoed, the questions were clear: could love bridge the gulf of unmet expectations? Would they find a way through the unresolved emotions that lingered like shadows? The room erupted in applause, but the sound felt distant to Jenna. All she could hear was the thundering of her own heart, a mix of exhilaration and fear that threatened to pull her under. As guests cheered for Sam, their faces glowing with newfound appreciation for the moment, her mind raced. She had just confessed her deepest fear in front of everyone she knew, friends, family, and the town that had watched her grow up. Sam stepped down from the microphone, his face flushed but radiant, the thrill of performing lighting up his features. Jenna's gaze held his for a moment, a silent acknowledgement passing between them. He hadn't just sung, he had stripped away the layers of facade for both of them. In that instant, she felt the walls around her heart begin to crumble. "Are you okay?" he whispered as he walked past her. The concern in his voice was genuine, grounding. She offered a weak smile, the kind that didn't quite reach her eyes. But she was ready to dig deeper now. Then, her father spoke. Jenna, he was still standing at the front, ashen and taken aback. The pride that usually filled his voice had been replaced by confusion and perhaps a hint of fear. What do you mean you don't want to be perfect? Tension thickened in the air. People turned, sensing the shift as murmurs filled the barn. Jenna felt the weight of their stares, but she summoned the courage that had blossomed in her chest since Sam had sung. Dad, I've spent my whole life trying to be what everyone wants what you want, she replied, her voice steadier than she expected. I just want to be me. Her father opened his mouth, and Jenna braced herself for his usual rebuttal, the one filled with righteous wisdom. But instead, he faltered. I just wanted you to have every opportunity so you could live a life I couldn't. The anguish in his voice echoed her own. The crowd quieted, feeling the depth of their shared pain. Jenna felt a rush of empathy for him. I know, Dad. But can you see? I don't need that. I need you to see me. The words hung in the air, heavy with emotion. Somewhere in the back, her mother wiped away a tear, and the sound of sniffling spread through the barn like wildfire. A wave of understanding washed over the guests. They were witnessing something profound, a family torn apart by love and expectations, now on the path to healing. Maybe perfection isn't the goal, Jenna continued, her voice gaining strength. Maybe we should just be real. Maybe we can start over. Her father met her gaze, and for a moment, time stood still. Jenna saw the struggle in his eyes, the desire to cling to what he knew versus the need to embrace change. As the atmosphere shifted, Sam returned to her side, unknowingly anchoring her further. He whispered, "You were brave. That took a lot of guts." The sincerity in his voice warmed her. It felt like the sun breaking through clouds after a storm. The music faded into the background while Jenna's heart pulsed with a mix of hope and uncertainty. The crowd began to murmur excitedly, sharing their own stories, baring their souls, inspired by the unfolding connection between Jenna and her father. Just when she thought things were heading in the right direction, a familiar face entered the barn. It was Sarah, Jenna's childhood friend, eyes blazing with untold secrets. "Hey, everyone," Sarah announced, silencing the room with her fierce confidence. "Jenna, we need to talk. There's something you need to know." For a moment, Jenna felt a chill wash over her. What did Sarah have to say? Would this moment of vulnerability be shattered like glass? Jenna took a deep breath, and the air felt electric, a mix of worry and anticipation hanging thick in the barn. Her fate hung in the balance, and as Sarah stepped forward with purpose, Jenna's heart raced. What could she possibly reveal that would change everything? Sarah walked to the center of the room, her confidence ringing out like a clarion call. Jenna's breath caught in her throat. Everyone's eyes were wide with curiosity, including her father's. The warmth of understanding that had begun to bloom now felt threatened by an impending storm. "Jenna," Sarah began, her voice steady, yet Jenna could sense the weight behind it. "You know I've always had your back, since we were kids. But there's something you need to hear. It's about why you felt alone in this." "What do you mean?" Jenna managed to croak out, her throat dry with apprehension. "Remember that summer you spent at camp?" Sarah continued, her tone turning gentle. "The one where you came back more withdrawn? You were going through so much, but no one wanted to see, including me." A wave of disbelief washed over Jenna. She thought she'd buried all of that, tucked it safely away in a place where memories couldn't hurt her. But now, as Sarah spoke, she felt those old emotions rise again, threatening to take her whole. "I didn't know what to say, and I thought you'd bounce back," Sarah said, her voice thick with remorse. "But it never left you, did it? You just kept trying to be perfect for everyone when really you needed someone to just be there." Jenna shook her head, the pain and confusion spilling forth. "But I didn't want anyone to worry about me. I had to be strong." "And that's the problem," Sarah urged. "You felt you had to be strong all by yourself. You've always been so afraid of disappointing everyone that you've lost sight of who you are. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd. Jenna's father blinked, the realization slowly dawning on him. She could feel the pressure rising, but a flicker of hope ignited within her. Sarah, Jenna started, her heart racing. That summer, I was struggling, and I thought pretending would protect everyone. I thought it would keep me safe. But it didn't, Sarah replied gently, stepping closer. And look around, Jenna. This crowd isn't here to judge you. They see you. You've inspired all of us tonight. Let us wrap around you and hold you up. You don't have to fight this alone anymore. Tears streamed down Jenna's cheeks, a mixture of relief and anguish. The softness in Sarah's eyes reminded her that the little girl she used to be was still there, buried underneath all those years of expectations. An overwhelming wave of emotion swept through the barn. Guests met her gaze with nods of understanding and compassion. It was as if each person had a story of their own, each a thread in this tapestry of vulnerability and strength. Sam's hand found Jenna's, squeezing it tight. Her heart thudded steadily against the chaos in her mind. Here she was, standing in front of everyone she loved, cracking open a door she thought would stay shut forever. "Thank you, Sarah," Jenna whispered, the weight of her confession lightening like a fading storm. But beneath the ephemeral relief lay a knot of unease. What else might come crashing down? I don't know if I can face everything that comes next," Jenna admitted out loud, her voice trembling. "Then one step at a time," Sarah encouraged, her gaze unwavering. "You don't have to have it all figured out. Just stay true to yourself." As Jenna processed those words, something shifted inside her. She felt a flicker of resolve. Perhaps this was the beginning of something real. Maybe sharing her burdens would allow others to feel free enough to share theirs. Just then, the barn doors swung open again, and a gust of wind carried an unmistakable scent through the air, something sweet and familiar. The last person Jenna expected to see stood there, a determined look on their face. "Jenna!" The figure called out, breathless yet purposeful. "You need to hear what I have to say." Jenna's heart seized at the sight. Who was this person, and why did their presence feel like the answer to a question she didn't know she was asking? As every eye shifted toward the newcomer, a mixture of dread and excitement brewed within her, threatening to spill over once again. What revelation awaited her this time? Jenna's heart raced. It was Ethan, her childhood friend, standing there in the doorway. His hair was tousled, and his eyes sparkled with urgency, as if he had just raced from one end of the world to the other. The barn exhaled a collective breath of surprise. No one had expected him, and certainly, no one anticipated the energy he brought. "Ethan?" Jenna whispered, half in disbelief, half in wonder. Attached to that name were an endless list of memories, laughter, shared secrets. But as she looked into his eyes, everything about those innocent days felt so far away. "I need to talk to you. It's important." His voice echoed off the barn walls, the sound reverberating through the silence that had settled around them. "What is going on?" Jenna asked, curiosity and concern battling for dominance in her chest. "Please, can we step outside?" He glanced at the crowd, his gaze darting around the faces that held quiet intrigue. Everyone seemed to share a breath, hanging heavy in expectancy. Jenna squeezed Sam's hand tighter, trying to pull strength from him. Sam's reassuring nod eased her anxiety slightly. "Okay," she said, feeling the pull of an unseen force urging her outside. She didn't know what to expect, but her heart was already looking for answers. As they stepped into the open air, the scent of summer floated around them, intermingling with the fresh hay and the faint aroma of pine. The moon hung low, casting soft light over the sprawling fields. It felt oddly tranquil, almost like the calm before a storm. Ethan turned to her, his face earnest, eyes searching her own. "I know this is probably the last thing you want right now, but I couldn't stay quiet any longer." "Couldn't stay quiet about what?" Jenna pressed, anxiety swirling inside her. What's happening? There's something I've been wanting to say for years but I never knew how to say it. And now, after seeing you up there, being so brave, I just thought, maybe it's finally time. Her pulse quickened. Could this be about those days they spent together? Times when he effortlessly made her smile, the moments when they shared their secrets? Ethan, just tell me, she urged, the secret of her heart surfacing like a moth from hiding. He took a step closer, and in that proximity, Jenna felt her walls beginning to crumble. You were never alone, Jenna. And you don't have to pretend anymore. I know you've been carrying so much weight. You've always been strong, and I admire that, but I also want you to know it's okay to lean on someone. I've been waiting for the right moment to tell you this. I was there for you, even when you didn't see me. What do you mean? She breathed, a knot tightening in her throat. Every time you smiled when you were hurting, I felt your pain. I thought maybe if I showed you how much I cared, it would lighten your load. But I was too scared to reach out. I saw how you hid it, how strong you tried to be for everyone, and I thought saying something would make it worse. A flood of memories rushed over her quiet glances, those moments he would sit beside her when she felt like sinking, the way he always seemed to know when she was struggling. Ethan, how did you know? I never. I could always tell, he admitted softly, his eyes reflecting a deep understanding. And I wish I had talked to you sooner. I wish I had waved my flag earlier and said, hey, I see you. You're not alone in this. As his words sank in, Jenna felt the stirrings of a connection, an invitation to heal. Did he really mean it? Could the scars she thought defined her find comfort in someone else's understanding? In that moment, time stood still. The world around them faded into the background as Jenna teased apart the threads of her fears and hopes. The barn door creaked as it swung open wider, pulling in laughter and murmurs from the celebration inside, but all Jenna could focus on was Ethan's unwavering gaze. The unease deep within her shifted, building into something unexpected, an undeniable spark of hope. Are you really here for me? She whispered, vulnerable once more as she stepped closer yet again. His nod felt heavy, but it also felt like a key, unlocking a door to potential healing. Just then, they both froze as another voice interrupted the tender silence. Jenna! Called out someone else from the doorway, urgency in their tone. You need to hear what I have to say too. Jenna turned, heart racing anew. Who else was there with more truths waiting to spill? What new revelations were in store? The air thickened with anticipation, and Jenna couldn't help but wonder just how much more her world was about to change. Jenna squinted into the dim light pouring from the barn door. There stood Mia, her cousin, her expression a mix of excitement and concern. The laughter from inside faded as Jenna's heart pounded in her chest. Mia? Jenna asked, her voice barely more than a whisper. We need to talk, Jenna. It's important, Mia said, her pulse visible as it quickened. Jenna felt a sudden jolt of tension. What could possibly be so urgent? Ethan stepped back, confusion swirling in his eyes. Jenna glanced between them, the air heavy with unspoken words, and then she gestured for Mia to join them outside. Once they were away from the crowd, Jenna felt vulnerable, confusion swirling in her mind. What's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost. Mia's gaze shifted to the ground, her grip tightening around a small locket hanging from her neck. It's about my mom, she murmured. And what happened at the hospital? Fear gripped Jenna by the throat. Memories of that night rushed forward, chaotic moments filled with frantic whispers and urgent prayers. What about her? Is she okay? Yes, but there's more, Jenna. I didn't know how to tell you. I thought it might just go away. But, it didn't. The pain in Mia's voice was palpable. What do you mean? Jenna pressed, the knot in her stomach tightening further. Taking a deep breath, Mia continued, it's about the things Mom said when she didn't think we could hear. You know she's been so strong for everyone, just like you, but deep down, she's been hurting too. Jenna's heart sank. What did she say? Each word felt like a stone, heavy and sinking. She mentioned your name. Mia paused, searching Jenna's eyes for understanding. She's worried about you, Jenna. She's always been so proud, but she knows you've struggled, and she thinks you're still suffering. Jenna's breath caught. The tears she had worked so hard to hold back began to swell. What do you mean? I thought I hid it well. I thought people didn't see. I did see, and so did she, Mia said softly. But more than that, I've felt it too. We're family, Jenna. I know how hard it is to carry everything alone. I'm here if you need a shoulder to lean on. The cracks in Jenna's armor started to widen. She felt as though she was standing on the edge of a precipice, the ground unstable beneath her feet. Why are you telling me this now? Why not before? Because, like Ethan, I thought you would think I was overreacting, Mia replied, her voice trembling. I didn't want to add to your burden. But seeing you up there tonight, watching you shine, it reminded me that you're still human, even if you don't feel it. In that moment, Jenna felt something shift within her. The weight of her unspoken truths pressed painfully against her chest. Could she really let them out? Would anyone be willing to hold her as she unraveled the pain she had hidden so deeply? Mia, Jenna started, hesitation clashing with a desperate need for relief. But just as she was about to continue, the barn door creaked open again, and more voices broke into the night. Jenna! Can we steal you for a minute? The bright tone of their Aunt Linda echoed through the air, cutting into the somber moment. Jenna turned, uncertainty crashing over her again. Did she have the strength to face another waiting truth? Mia squeezed her shoulder with a reassuring grip. You don't have to do this alone. Whatever it is, we'll face it together, she promised quietly. Jenna felt a swell of something rising inside her, determination mixed with fear. She had to decide. But how much more was she willing to uncover? The evening was spiraling, and the unexpected gathering was crushing in. As the voices grew louder, filled with light-hearted banter and joy, Jenna felt the tug of both worlds. One filled with her secrets, the other brimming with celebration. What would she choose? Mia? She said, heart pounding. Can we talk more after this? Absolutely, Mia replied, her eyes bright yet full of depth. With her heart racing anew, Jenna took a step toward the barn, the laughter flooding around her like water. She felt the weight of everyone's gaze, every hidden truth lingering in the air. And somehow, she knew this was just the start. What else would she have to confront tonight? There were more truths lurking just beneath the surface, ready to be unearthed. Would she find the courage to discover them all? As Jenna stepped into the vibrant glow of the barn, laughter and chatter enveloped her like a warm blanket, but it felt heavy. Ethan and Mia lingered just behind her, two anchors tethering her to the ground in a whirlwind of emotion. Jenna glanced around the room, at the familiar faces of family and friends, all laughing, dancing, and celebrating her aunt and uncle's anniversary. Each smile seemed to highlight the shadows lurking in the corners of her heart. Hey, Jenna! Shouted a voice, breaking her reverie. It was Kyle, one of her childhood friends, approaching with his easy grin. You're missing the best part. Come dance with us. As he led her into the crowd, Jenna's heart thudded nervously. She felt like an outsider in her own life. The music pulsed around her, but in that moment, it was muffled by the thoughts racing through her mind. What did Mia know? Did anyone else see the cracks in her carefully constructed facade? Come on, let loose. Kyle insisted, pulling her into the thrumming rhythm. Reluctantly, Jenna swayed, forcing a smile. But as she danced, all she could think about was how to keep it together. She glanced back to Mia, who stood off to the side, still watching her with concern. The cheerful music around them seemed to clash with Mia's grave revelations. Jenna felt herself wobbling painfully between the two worlds, one of joyful celebration and the other of heart-wrenching truth. Suddenly, a hush fell over the crowd. Everyone turned toward a figure standing near the barn door, a server holding a microphone. Jenna's stomach dropped. She recognized the server. It was Emma, a talented singer from the local community theater. "Hey everyone. I hope you're enjoying the night. I want to dedicate this song to a very special couple," Emma announced, her voice clear and ringing with warmth. Just as the first notes floated through the air, Jenna felt something shift inside her. The soft melody wrapped around her, creeping into the cavern of her heart, stirring emotions she thought she had hidden away. The song touched on love, heartache, and the strength people find in each other. "Wow," Kyle said, leaning closer to Jenna. "She's amazing, right?" Jenna nodded, but her heart slowly sank. The words resonated with her deeper than she expected, each lyric echoing her own hidden pain. There in the middle of the dance floor, surrounded by family and friends, the truth slammed into her like a freight train. The song seemed to reach her, wrapping itself around the raw feelings she had kept buried, the struggles, the loneliness, the moments of despair hidden beneath her smiles. In that vulnerable space, Jenna felt the dam inside her start to crack. Tears pricked her eyes. As the song reached its crescendo, the audience swayed, caught in the beauty of the moment. Jenna looked around and saw the smiles, the laughter, the unity of love. But deeper still, she saw Mia's unwavering gaze, and she could feel the weight of unspoken support just behind it. Then, as if the universe had conspired to bring clarity, Jenna made her decision. She couldn't stay locked in silence. She had to confront her truth. "Excuse me," she said to Kyle, who looked surprised. "I'll be right back." She stepped away from the crowd, her heart pounding harder than before, but this time with determination rather than fear. "Mia," she called, voice steady, resolute. "Can we talk now?" The look of hope mixed with relief in Mia's eyes was illuminating. "Absolutely," she said, stepping forward, but as Jenna turned to head toward her cousin, she overheard a hushed conversation from a nearby group. It was Aunt Linda, and Jenna caught a few words that pricked her ears. "She's been so brave, but I worry she hasn't found peace yet." Jenna halted, frozen. Her heart raced. Was her struggle that obvious? How much had everyone seen? This moment felt like a pivot. The dance floor faded away, and she realized she had a choice to make. Would she keep hiding, or would she finally embrace the support of those who loved her? With that thought lingering in her mind, she forged ahead. What truths awaited in the shadows, and could she finally step into the light? Jenna took a deep breath, the fading sound of the music dimming as her pulse raced. She felt the weight of everyone's eyes on her, but it wasn't judgment she feared. It was her own doubts that gripped her, twisting in her chest. She needed Mia's strength right now, more than ever. "Jenna?" Mia had moved closer, concern etched on her face. "Are you okay?" It was a simple question, yet it felt monumental. A live wire suddenly sparked in the air between them. "I want to talk," Jenna said, her voice firm despite the tremor beneath the surface. She reached out and grabbed Mia's hand, pulling her into a quiet corner of the barn, where the chatter faded into a soft hum. Mia followed, her eyes searching Jenna's, filled with an understanding that made Jenna feel both vulnerable and safe. "What is going on?" Jenna hesitated, the carefully chosen words stuck in her throat. She had rehearsed this so many times in her mind, but now that she had the moment, the weight of it threatened to crush her. "I feel lost, Mia. I can't keep pretending everything's fine." Images flashed through her mind, the overflowing emotions, the brokenness, and the night spent staring at the ceiling, thinking of everything she couldn't say. "I've been so tired, so scared." For a moment, Mia stood silently, then pulled Jenna into an embrace. The warmth wrapped around Jenna like a lifeline. "You're not alone," Mia whispered, her voice steady and reassuring. You can open up to me. Whatever it is, please share it. Jenna stepped back, wiping a tear from her cheek. It's just hard to admit that I'm not okay. I don't want to ruin the joy of today. I don't want to burden anyone. Mia shook her head gently. That's not how it works, Jen. She paused, her gaze piercing into Jenna's soul. We all have our struggles. Hiding them won't make them disappear. As Jenna looked into her cousin's eyes, she felt the walls around her heart begin to crumble. The fear of being seen, of being vulnerable, weighed against the relief of being true to herself. I'm afraid of how everyone will react. What if this changes everything? It won't change the love we have for you, Mia replied softly, stepping closer. You're loved, regardless of how you feel or what you're going through. We're here for you. Jenna took another breath, allowing the light of Mia's words to seep into her doubts. I've been struggling with everything, she admitted. The expectations, the loneliness. I feel like I've lost myself. Mia stepped back again, her expression firm. Then let us find you again. You don't have to do this alone. Just as Jenna opened her mouth to reply, loud laughter erupted from the dance floor, breaking the moment. There was a sense of celebration, a pulse of joy that seemed to echo around her. She knew that joy was part of who they were, the familial bond woven through shared moments and laughter. Yet, she also realized it wasn't the only thing that mattered. I'm ready, Jenna finally said. I want to search for myself, together with you and with everyone. Mia brightened, the tension in her face easing. Good. We'll do it step by step. Tonight is just the beginning. As they wandered back toward the revelry, Jenna felt lighter. It was like a weight had lifted, revealing a path forward filled with hope. But just before rejoining the party, Jenna heard muffled voices from a nearby corner. I just don't know how she's managing it all, one voice exclaimed. Jenna's heart raced again as she leaned in closer, craving to know more, but the rest of the conversation was lost in the distance. What was everyone talking about? What did they know that she didn't? The echoes of the dance floor buzzed around her, each beat a call to open her heart further. She and Mia exchanged determined looks, aware that their journey was only just beginning. And as Jenna grasped that truth, a new question lingered in the air, heavy with possibility. What would they uncover when she finally faced the depths of her pain? As Jenna and Mia stepped back into the thrumming atmosphere of the barn, the music swelled around them like a warm embrace. Bodies swayed, laughter bubbled, and the scent of blooming wildflowers mixed enchantingly with the aroma of home-cooked dishes beyond the barn doors. But even amidst the festivities, a subtle tension threaded through Jenna's veins, one she wasn't ready to shake off just yet. Mia kept her hand resting on Jenna's back, a quiet reminder of the support she needed. Jenna caught snippets of conversation fluttering past her, each one pulling her in different directions. They were all so happy. It made her heart ache at the thought of sharing her struggle. Hey! Let us dance! Mia exclaimed, breaking through Jenna's swirling thoughts. Her cousin grinned, a mischievous glimmer in her eye. But the thought of dancing felt daunting. Would it drown out her truths or amplify them? Jenna turned to Mia, forcing a smile. Maybe in a bit? Mia nodded, sensing Jenna's hesitation. Okay, but promise me we'll talk more later? Definitely, Jenna replied, appreciating the way Mia respected her space. They rejoined the dance floor for a moment. The music thumped in her chest, and for a fleeting second, Jenna found herself smiling, a genuine smile that felt like it was finally rising from the depths of her heart, yet the moment passed as Jenna's gaze wandered. Her eyes caught a glimpse of the tables where servers moved gracefully, balancing trays of cupcakes and drinks. Among them was a young woman with striking dark hair and an infectious smile. She moved through the crowd effortlessly, her laughter mixing with ones from the partygoers, but what struck Jenna was something deeper. She recognized that glimmer of joy was also tinged with sadness, a look she had seen reflected in her own eyes countless times. It seemed the server had her own burdens to carry, even while serving others. With a sudden push, curiosity urged Jenna to step closer to the edge of the dance floor. She stood still, hidden behind a cluster of bright balloons, as she watched the woman interact with the guests. At that moment, Jenna couldn't help but wonder, did this girl know how to balance her heartbreak with joy? Or was she like Jenna, masking her pain with a smile? Jenna? Mia reappeared beside her. What are you looking at? I think that server reminds me of me, Jenna admitted, her voice low. Like she's holding something back. Mia followed her gaze and nodded. I didn't think I'd say this, but you're right. It's so easy to hide underneath smiles, isn't it? Jenna swallowed hard, the truth in Mia's words resonating deep within. Do you think everyone hides parts of themselves? Maybe, Mia said thoughtfully. But that doesn't mean we can't break those walls down. Maybe she could use someone to talk to, just like you. The thought lodged itself in Jenna's heart, a new idea weaving itself into her fabric of uncertainty. If she could reach out to someone else, perhaps she would find the courage to share her own story. Then, without thinking, she straightened, an excited determination flashing in her eyes. Let us go talk to her, Jenna decided. I want to know her story. Mia blinked, surprised. Wait, really? Yes. It feels right. I need to do this, Jenna stated, feeling a flicker of the strength she had so long tried to find. As they approached the young woman, Jenna's heart raced a mix of nerves and anticipation. She felt on the edge of something important, a dawning realization about reaching out to others that mirrored her desire to face her own truth. But as they neared, the server turned to them with a bright smile, and the words Jenna had prepared suddenly fled her mind. All she could think was, how would this stranger affect her journey ahead? What happens if this simple conversation becomes the catalyst for unlocking deeper truths she'd long buried? The server's smile was genuine, brightening her already animated face. Jenna felt the nervous knot in her stomach twist tighter. She took a breath, trying to gather the courage that had propelled her forward. Hi. I'm Jenna, and this is Mia, she stammered, her voice barely above the music. Your smile, it's contagious. The young woman's laughter rang out, light and musical. Thank you. I'm Clara. I love working events like this. The energy is just electric. Jenna nodded, her heart still racing, but Mia quickly jumped in. So, do you enjoy working here? Clara's smile faltered for just a moment, revealing a hint of something deeper behind her cheerful exterior. Most days, yeah, she said, her eyes briefly flicking away as if lost in thought. But, you know, sometimes it can be a lot. Serving people is great, but it can also get heavy. What do you mean? Jenna asked, her curiosity bringing an urgency to her voice. I mean, do you find it hard to keep smiling? Clara looked back at Jenna, her smile returning but softer now. Definitely. Everyone has their struggles. I often feel like a juggler balancing my own feelings along with making sure others are happy. It's like, there's this pressure to always be the happy server, you know? Jenna's heart pounded. It felt like Clara had peeled back a layer, exposing a truth Jenna herself wrestled with daily. I totally get that. It's exhausting trying to put on a brave face. Right? Clara replied, her animosity fading. But sometimes, I don't know who I can share my burdens with. People tend to see you for what you show them, not what you're hiding behind the surface. Mia, sensing the vulnerability, leaned closer. Is there something in particular that weighs on you? Clara hesitated, her gaze drifting to the animated crowd, then back to Jenna and Mia. I just lost someone really important to me, the kind of loss that feels like a hole inside, even when I'm surrounded by laughter. Everyone thinks I'm okay, but there are days when it hurts too much to pretend. Jenna felt tears prick at her eyes, resonating with the shared pain in Clara's words. "I'm sorry," she whispered, her voice choked. "I am struggling too. I haven't really shared it, but sometimes it feels so heavy I can hardly breathe." Clara's eyes softened, and the connection felt immediate. "You're brave for saying that. It's often easier for people to bear smiles than to face their real emotions." Mia, sensing the powerful moment between them, nudged Jenna gently. Jenna took a deep breath, recalling her earlier determination. "Can we, share our stories? Maybe it helps to talk about it." Clara's eyebrows raised in surprise but then melted into a warm smile. "I'd like that." In the crowded barn, a tiny bubble of intimacy formed around the three of them, the cacophony of festivities fading into the background. As Jenna began to share her truth, the resonance of her worries intertwined with Clara's sorrows, creating a tapestry of shared burdens and understanding. For the first time, Jenna felt the weight lift a little. It was liberating. But an unexpected urge to dig deeper twisted in her mind. What if Clara's story mirrored her own struggles, and through this connection, they could help one another heal? As Jenna opened her heart fully, a part of her remained unsure. Would this be the moment that truly changed everything? Or would it simply be another fleeting exchange, lost amidst the joy of the night? Suddenly, there was a commotion at the entrance of the barn, a loud shout that snapped the three of them back to the bustling night. The laughter and music grew louder, but in the rush of it all, Jenna knew something had shifted. With newfound hope brewing in her chest, she questioned if that new revelation they were all looking for was just around the corner. Something unexpected was about to unfold, and she found herself curiously leaning into the chaos. What would happen next? The applause burst forth like the petals of spring, bright and alive, wrapping Jenna in warmth. She stood before the crowd, her heart pounding, yet this time it felt different. This time, she finally felt real. The joy and pain swirled around her like the fragrant breeze weaving through the barn. She took a deep breath, meeting the eyes of her father, her friends, and the kind server, Clara. Each face held their own stories, their own battles. With every cheer that filled the air, Jenna realized something crucial: she wasn't alone in her struggles. A sense of belonging washed over her, intertwining with the knowledge that vulnerability could touch others deeply. The music resumed, notes forming a wave of emotion that encouraged her to continue this newfound journey toward truth. The night continued, and soon enough, it was time for Jenna's father to address the guests. His voice trembled slightly, but filled with sincerity, as he spoke. "Tonight, I've seen a side of my daughter that has truly inspired me. Jenna, your courage in sharing your heart will lead us all to be more authentic in our lives. I wish I had known. My dreams for you stemmed from love, but I see now what I wasn't able to see before." Tears prickled at Jenna's eyes. Her father's words flowed like a river of hope, washing away years of unvoiced expectations. "Every parent wants their child to thrive," he continued, "but I can see it now. What matters most is for you to be true to yourself." The room erupted in support. Laughter mingled with tears of joy. Jenna felt the weight on her chest lighten. A release. A softening. She looked over at Clara, who was nodding encouragingly, understanding swirling in her gaze. Folding deeper into herself, Jenna thought about all the hidden parts of herself she had yet to confront. But those layers, once heavy, felt lighter now. As the evening progressed, the remaining cloud of doubt cracked open with a burst of clear joy. Sam returned for another song, one filled with hope and feeling, and Jenna leaned in to soak it all in. The atmosphere transformed, laughter echoed louder, families embraced tighter, and a gentle energy propelled Jenna forward. "Hey," Mia whispered beside her, breaking her trance. "You really shone today." "Thanks," Jenna smiled, the corners of her mouth lifting up with genuine delight. "I feel like I'm finally stepping into the light." And then, from across the room, Ethan caught her eye. He sent her a warm smile, filled with unspoken connection. She approached him, her heart racing. "You were right earlier. I don't have to do this alone. Thank you for seeing me." You've always had my heart, Jenna. We've just needed to find our way back to the truth, he said softly. The warmth of his presence enveloped her, and for a fleeting moment, it felt like everything clicked: the laughter, the love, the connections they all shared. Before she could think twice, Jenna saw Clara approaching them with a beaming smile. Thank you for sharing your stories tonight. It made me feel like I could pull back my own layers. Together, right? Jenna said, her heart swelling with hope. We don't have to hide anymore. And as Clara nodded in agreement, all three of them stood together, ready to embrace whatever happened next. In the moments that followed, as the night unfolded, Jenna continued to open up about her past, weaving her truth with Clara and Ethan. They shared stories of laughter and pain, childhood dreams and present fears. Each tale stitched a little more of them together, a tapestry highlighting the human experience. By the end of the evening, the barn transformed into a sanctuary of acceptance and grace, a space where struggles felt lighter when shared. Jenna felt whole, surrounded by warmth, trials woven into a story of resilience. As the night drew to a close, Jenna held her father's hand, her heart racing with love. Can we start over as a family? She asked, her voice breaking with emotion. He simply nodded, a smile growing on his lips that filled her with an undeniable sense of peace. This day had transformed from a celebration into a life-changing moment filled with healing and connection, an unveiling of promises, hopes, and dreams that would guide them all into a brighter beginning. And as Jenna stepped into the future, embraced by her family and newfound friends, she smiled. She felt free to embrace who she truly is. Together, they found that love could mend bridges, face fears, and hold each other through every storm they faced. The echoes of their laughter rang true, high above the barn, dancing among the stars, a collective promise that echoed through their hearts. They would never walk alone again. Now, it's your moment to help others discover stories that heal and inspire. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and push us forward. Comment below sharing your reactions and feelings about this ending. And don't wait not even one more second to share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.